We need to know specific outcomes that demonstrate how students understand, appreciate, or know. In 2006, the Quality Assurance Agency, FIE's main accrediting body, said, "The way in which students are assessed fundamentally affects their learning. Good assessment practice is designed to ensure that, in order to pass the module or program, students have to demonstrate they've achieved the intended learning outcomes." In 1956, Benjamin Bloom developed a classification of levels of intellectual behavior important in learning. During the late 1990s, the taxonomy was updated to reflect relevance to 21st century work and the change to verbs associated with each level. Attached to each level is the resulting evidence that refers to the work that students produce to demonstrate their learning, such as papers, exams, presentations, portfolios, etc. Remembering, can the student recall or remember the information? Understanding, can the student explain the ideas or concepts? Applying, can the student use the information in a new way? Analyzing, can the student distinguish between the different points? Evaluating, can the student justify a stand or decision? Creating, can the student create a new product or point of view? FIE faculty are aware of learning outcomes at the course level, as these are included in FIE syllabi templates. Course level learning outcomes are what students are expected to learn during a course. Course level learning outcome statements refer to specific knowledge, practical skills, attitudes, higher order thinking skills, etc. that faculty members expect students to develop, learn, or master during a course. Learning outcomes have three major characteristics. They specify an action by the students that is observable. They specify an act by the student that is measurable. They specify an action that is done by the students rather than the faculty. The program-level learning outcomes are concise descriptors of the impact the FIE London program has on students through their studies, experiential education, co-curricular, and personal and social engagements with London. Program-level learning outcomes are measured via end-of-program feedback. They are consistent with FIE's mission and values and describe the specific skills, competencies, and knowledge FI believes that graduates of our London program should have attained by the time they return to their home campuses. As a reminder, FIE's mission makes specific reference to high-quality and creative learning environments, with students aware of their privileges and responsibilities, grounded in intercultural interaction. Our values should also be explicitly measured through FIE courses. This slide shows the 4 learning outcomes that students in London should attain, demonstrating an understanding, appreciation of, and empathy towards diverse cultures and identities, summarizing issues of social justice at global, national, and local levels, explaining the ethical implications of their personal choices integrated with their civic and social responsibilities, and discriminating between sustainability initiatives while critiquing them and also showing ways of improving sustainability. Each course-level learning outcome must have a related assignment where it is then assessed. The language of the assignment and the measures of student learning must be clearly traceable back to the related course-level learning outcome. Assignment-level goals serve 3 purposes. They clarify faculty expectations and emphasis for that particular assignment to students. They tie back to the course-level learning outcomes as stated on the syllabus, and they translate directly to a grading rubric or checklist for that assignment. Assignment-level learning outcomes can be an exact repetition of a course-level learning outcome, which is easier to map back to the syllabus, or they can be worded to indicate the progression of skills the faculty member expects over the duration of the course. Questions for faculty to ask themselves. How does this assignment further my course goals for the semester? Have I included my goals on the assignment? What do I want students to demonstrate to me in this assignment? What will students gain by doing this assignment? Will students understand what I want them to do and why? And have I given class time to a discussion of all the above? Some further questions on assignment sequences and timing. How does this assignment relate to what comes before and after it in the course? Am I asking students to explore the subject matter in increasingly complex ways? Is there a step-by-step development of skills? Do I give students enough time to read, research, draft, write, and rewrite? The vast majority of our students take one of our British Life key course derivatives, and as such, they write a research and response paper on the sustainability lecture. Faculty will now have a specific grading rubric to grade their student papers. So this is the pro forma that we will be using. We see here the British Life key course learning outcomes measured by this assignment. There are Bloom's taxonomy and the various areas, remembering, understanding, etc. As a result of the completion of this assignment, so the Sustainability Research and Response paper, students will be able to recall the topics presented. And this ties directly back to the Bloom's remembering taxonomy. The next level, discuss the presentation. This ties back directly to understanding. And then we keep moving forward, interpreting, ties to application, etc. By including all four of these areas, then the student should be proficient and therefore get a B for the paper. We continue moving forward, composing an argument and then justifying the argument, in addition to everything else, should then allow the student to get an outstanding result on the paper. To translate the assignment learning outcome into a grade for the assignment, simply rate the student's work on each category. If you weight any of the criteria as more important, then here is where you will apply that weighting. For example, when teaching our freshman courses, there is likely to be less weight tied to the upper level learning outcomes, such as analysis, evaluating, and creating. So now is your time. A blank individual assessment grading rubric template is on the virtual faculty lounge. Simply start by filling in your assessment criteria step by step. Start with course level learning outcomes from your syllabus. Then add in the specific learning outcome for this assignment. The completion of the assignment, the student will start writing your remembering, understanding, applying learning outcomes. Start with the course level learning outcomes from your syllabus. For all assignments in all courses in Spring 15 semester, the goal is to have assessment level learning outcomes before the start of classes. If you have any questions, then speak to any one of our 3 FIE faculty course conveners, or speak to Graham in the academic office.